Good morning, everybody, and I really apologize because I can't be with you at the meeting these days. I was very interested to participate and to be in Herceg Novi, to know that reality and to visit the schools and meet all of you. Unfortunately, I had a problem, as you can see, in the medication that didn't allow me to participate. So this registration I'm making is a backup in case we are not able to connect via internet for the seminar, the web seminar. I hope in any case to be able to carry out. Now I will switch out of the video to the slides that I will use for guiding you through the presentation. So the first step is about the feasibility study, as you see in the title of this set of slides. As Mr. Saverio probably already said to you yesterday, this project is a very short one. We have a couple of months at the end, three months to develop our job, and basically we are working via some in-presence meeting or virtual in-presence meeting like those we've made with the experts panel at the 8th of September, and some homework that should be done by the participants. And the first job is up to the experts panel, which yesterday have told you which kind of expertise they represent. As for I'm the training design director of a vocational education and training association and training provider of Friuli Venezia Giulia region. And it's a long time. I work in the sector. It's more than 25 years. And I've been called because of my expertise and my participation on behalf of the region Friuli Venezia Giulia in former projects which were focused on mobility, in particular mobility of students in companies abroad. And so I will help this expert panel group to develop a feasibility study, so-called, which is a document where mainly we are going through the elements of framework to refer to within a European Union strategy for the Adriatic and Ionian region, so the old IPA and now use air, to guide, let's say, in the best way, those schools who are intended to go on in the experience of exchanging teachers and students, as happened in the former KIPAS projects, of which this one is the conclusion, let's say. And I will illustrate in a while, in the first presentation, the main characteristics of visibility of this feasibility study and how we are gonna to build it. Meanwhile, we also started up with the today meeting the first workshop of the so-called in the beginning summer school, but obviously for the delay of the project now we are in autumn. But anyway, there are two workshops foreseen. The first is the one you are participating in today in Montenegro, and we decided to join all the participants, whatever the sector they come from. There was a choice in the beginning to be done if we had to do two separate meetings for each one dedicated to a sectoral team, and the two sectors involved in this project are, as you know, the tourism sector and the maritime sector. All the other choice which we preferred was to work all together and focusing not mainly on the sectoral issues, but on the transversal one, as you can see, and as you will see in a while. So what is expected as an outcome from the two groups? Since we already drafted the feasibility study and we have a discussion about the approach we should give to this user framework of mobility, we decided that since we have a short time and we couldn't solve all the problematics that you can find in a mobility process, we will concentrate the seminars dedicated to teachers and operators of schools and vocational and education and training systems, which I call VIT from now on. We will work on two main issues, which are the guidance issue and the evaluation issue. So the very first beginning of the process and the end of the process of mobility, because we believe that those two moments are the more relevant at the end, because the first drive to a more conscious choice by the student who participates to a mobility experience, and the second one is the more important, the evaluation, as for the recognition of the work done abroad, and it's the more critical also, especially if we consider the professional issues. And well, the foreseen program was this one, which obviously, if you are listening to this recorded presentation, have been changed, and probably it will be the 5th of October in the morning, and I will go through the presentation which was foreseen the 4th of October in the morning. Anyway, what we thought about was to work on the guidance the first day, and on the evaluation on the second and third. We will mix a little bit the things up. So today we will work mainly on the evaluation theme, and tomorrow will be dedicated to the guidance. As for the feasibility study, the document will be structured as you can see in this slide. There will be a foreword and a comparative glossary. This is very important because we try in this glossary to compare the definitions and the meanings attributed to a set of terms we believe are relevant for mobility. And then in chapter 3 there will be the design of a general process scheme. We believe it could be effective, let's say, and the best way to do our mobility experiences in the user frame, with a specific focus in chapters 3.2 and 3.3 on the common guidance approach and the common assessment principles, which are the two issues I was telling you before, the very beginning and the very ending of the mobility process. And the feasibility study will end up with a fourth chapter with some recommendations, particularly as for sustainability is regarded, and also Norman rules maybe, whereas these can be very different from country to country. So I'll go through right now the comparative glossary just to show you how it's structured in the paper. So the glossary aims to help the schools and vet operators to have a simple and clear view of the meaning of each concept we identified. And to each concept, for each concept we adopt an English definition, and ask to the partners to explain in their own country which is the interpretation, let's say. The English one is the formal one, let's say, the one we attribute to the term within our BlueSKILLS user mobility frame. So when we speak in a document and we will use the term in a document, the meaning is this one. But in this case, we also know how this concept is interpreted and finds real usability in each partner country. And this is the structure of a glossary item. So you can see the item, assessment in this case, the description in English, so the process of appraising professional competence against predefined criteria can be carried out by a company via the observation of observable behaviors on the job, or by an assessment body via the standards that the body refers to. And here you find a couple of columns filled in, and the Montenegro one has been already done as well. And for the end of the express group job, all the columns will be available for the partners for mutual understanding. The only thing I want to say about the glossary is that in the columns probably somewhere you find not definitions but the explanation of how these concepts find concreteness and in the specific country. And so, for example, for Italy here you find the places where right now this thing can take place. So companies, certification bodies, schools and vet and so on. The list of terms we have chosen right now is the one you can see, and the first question I make to the participants to this meeting is this list sufficient? Do we missed some term you believe it's necessary to take in consideration? And so if there will be any further indication, we will include it in the feasibility study and do the job. As for the mobility frame and the chapter about the process, we'll go through in the next video because of the length of those videos. I should stop at predefined timing, not to have the files too long. Goodbye, and thank you very much.